Meghan Markle's Netflix fallout didn't start with the show flopping or the contract getting cancelled. It started with cardboard signs, rap music, and a video she never should have filmed. The whole thing spiraled out of a moment she thought would be empowering, bold, maybe even iconic. Instead, it lit a match Netflix was already soaking in gasoline. Picture this. Meghan in her own home, phone propped up, blasting rap music, holding up homemade cardboard signs like she was back in high school drama club, but with real stakes this time. Each sign had a studio name on it. Not the ones she loved, but the ones that rejected her. Paramount, HBO, Blumhouse, Netflix. One by one she tore through them, tossed them aside, ripped them apart. Then came the Netflix sign. That's when the video took a hard turn. She walked up to the camera, looked straight into it, and let loose. Not just a few words of frustration, she aired out every dark corner of her Netflix experience. She claimed toxicity on set, talked about producers who silenced her, and even dropped details about Netflix projects that hadn't been announced yet, things Netflix was planning to unveil months down the line, completely spoiled. To top it off, she told the entire plot of the first 4 episodes of her show's second season, before the trailer had even come out. This wasn't some random social media rant. It was a clear contract breach. And the wild part, it wasn't a hacker, a leak, or a whistleblower that brought this to Netflix's attention. It was her own agent and manager. They saw the video, panicked, and reported her. That's when all hell broke loose behind the scenes. Netflix, already embarrassed by how poorly the first season of With Love Meghan Jin performed, was trying to salvage what little hype they had for the second season. They had already pulled millions of dollars from the marketing budget. Plans for a big trailer launch in late July were scrapped quietly. The new strategy, keep things low-key, pretend the show isn't a train wreck, and hope no one notices until it's too late. But Meghan wasn't having that. She felt abandoned. Netflix wasn't promoting her work, so she took matters into her own hands and in doing so violated multiple clauses in her contract. Talking publicly about behind-the-scenes drama, forbidden. Spoiling show plots, absolutely not. Leaking unannounced Netflix projects, that's a legal nightmare. The video, though unreleased at the time, existed. Meghan reportedly agreed to hold off on posting it for now, but she's still threatening to drop it once season 2 is out, claiming she wants to tell her truth and reveal what really happened on set. Meanwhile, Netflix has already looped in legal teams and is quietly preparing to go after her if she does. And here's the kicker. Meghan wasn't apologetic when confronted. She doubled down, said she could do whatever she wanted, called out her team for betrayal, accused Netflix of sabotaging her. It wasn't a PR meltdown. It was a full-blown declaration of war. And now she's left alone, agentless, managerless, and blacklisted from most of the studios she trashed in that video. This entire fiasco didn't just damage Netflix, it put her career on a cliff's edge. And what makes it worse is that the deeper you look, the more it becomes clear this wasn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing. Meghan had been planning this move for a while. And the cardboard signs, they weren't just props. They were a message, a warning shot. Ted Sarandos didn't even flinch when the footage was shown to him. He sat there, arms crossed, eyes locked on the screen as Meghan tore through the logos and unleashed her monologue. According to one insider, he didn't say a word for a solid 2 minutes after it ended. Then he turned to his legal team and said, "We're done with her. Make it clean." That's how fast it unraveled. Meghan thought she was exposing the system, but what she really did was hand Netflix every reason they needed to bury the partnership for good. Internally, they were already on edge about her. The show hadn't hit numbers. Viewership was way lower than expected. Critical reception brutal. The audience score was in the dirt. Season 1 was supposed to be a bold personal project that redefined her post-royal image. Instead, it became a punchline, and Season 2 wasn't looking any better. Netflix had quietly been shifting resources away from it. They pulled ad money, reassigned social media staff, and moved promo slots to other projects. Meghan noticed. She felt iced out. But rather than negotiating or even confronting the issue professionally, she went rogue. That was her playful rebellion. The problem is Netflix isn't just a streaming platform. It's a corporation with contracts, confidentiality agreements, and a reputation to protect. Meghan's claims about toxicity, about mistreatment, about creative suppression. None of that was new to them. What crossed the line was her decision to spoil unreleased material and disclose confidential studio strategies that hit the legal threshold. What was once a personality clash turned into a breach of trust on paper. Her agents didn't just report her to Netflix out of fear. They were trying to save their own necks. Their reputations were at stake too. They had pushed her to executives, vouched for her reliability, convinced Netflix she could carry a show on her own. After the video surfaced, all of that crumbled. And it wasn't long before Meghan started turning on them too. Behind the scenes, she was furious. Accused her team of sabotage. Claimed they were jealous of her independence. Said they wanted to control her image. But the truth, they were just exhausted. One of her longtime team members allegedly told a friend, "We spent 2 years putting out fires. This time she lit the whole forest." Even Netflix's top execs were caught off guard by how far she went. Greg Peters, co-CEO, was said to be visibly shaken after watching the final cut of the video. Not because it revealed anything devastating, but because it was so erratic, so off-brand, so self-destructive. He called an emergency meeting with marketing and legal, and by the end of the day, a quiet decision was made. No third season, no side projects, no off-the-record appearances. They weren't just pulling the plug, they were cutting the cord completely. Still, Meghan wasn't backing down. She doubled her efforts behind closed doors, reaching out to smaller networks, indie producers, even trying to pitch herself for documentaries about the entertainment industry. She started painting herself as a whistleblower, a truth teller, someone brave enough to stand up to Netflix. But those cardboard signs, they weren't inspiring anyone. Studios saw them as warning signs. Nobody wants to take on someone who might torch the place on their way out. Netflix isn't wasting time waiting for another outburst. Their legal team has already compiled the timestamps, contracts, and video breakdowns. If Meghan ever uploads that footage, even as a deleted scenes gimmick or under the veil of artistic expression, they're ready to hit her with everything they've got. Multiple clauses were broken, NDAs, confidentiality, even competitive disclosure. This isn't petty revenge. It's about setting a precedent. If a high-profile figure like Meghan can burn bridges publicly without consequences, it opens the floodgates for others. There's talk that Netflix may pursue damages, not just to recoup lost marketing money, but to make an example of what happens when a partner weaponizes their own platform against them. They've done it before, quietly behind closed doors. But Meghan's case is different. Her entire act is on camera. There's no way to spin it. And even if she claims it was just performance art or a personal message, the contracts say otherwise. Meanwhile, the fallout's spreading. Netflix has put all future royalty payouts from the With Love Meghan project on hold. Meghan's team is trying to dispute that, arguing that the footage was never officially published, but internally Netflix is calling it intent to distribute, and that's all the justification they need to start freezing funds. Other studios are staying quiet publicly, but behind closed doors the message is clear. Hands off. Meghan's name is now being flagged in submission filters. Agencies that once fought to get her meetings are suddenly restructuring, not taking on new clients or just going silent. She's not blacklisted in the official sense, but the unofficial sense, loud and clear. One industry executive reportedly described it best. She brought a sword to a handshake. They were all willing to work around her quirks, her demands, her edits, her last-minute rewrites. But leaking private projects, trashing your own show, and burning your collaborators in front of a global audience, that crosses into dangerous territory. Even her fan base is divided. Some are still backing her, saying she's brave for speaking up. But even among supporters, there's confusion. Why sabotage your own show? Why attack the very platform that gave you creative control and millions of dollars to build your brand? The answers don't seem strategic. They seem personal, emotional, maybe even impulsive. And that's the root of the whole mess. Meghan wanted control over the narrative, over the way she's seen, over the story of her life after royalty, but she picked the wrong battlefield. Streaming giants don't fight in public. They respond with silence, lawyers, and locked doors. And now that she's on the outside, she's realizing just how small the entertainment world becomes when you're known as the problem, not the talent. Reports say she's trying to rebrand again. There's chatter about a podcast comeback, maybe a book deal. Some even say she's looking into producing content herself, skipping studios altogether. But credibility is hard to rebuild when your last major collaboration ended in legal threats and scorched earth. Netflix, for their part, has already moved on. Their new campaigns are focused elsewhere. Bigger shows, safer bet. With Love, Meghan will quietly drop, likely with minimal promo buried between splashier titles. No press tour, no premiere event, no grand farewell, just a quiet upload, a few weeks of awkward tweets, and then nothing. And Meghan, she's left with a video no one wants to see, a message no one's willing to hear, and an industry that won't forget what she tried to do, no matter how many times she changes the script.